like this.
Where's the bullet?
Where's the gun?
They don't care about what I gotta say. In their mind, I did it.
Once we love one another in spite of our differences, once we love one another in spite of our flaws, let them know I am with you.
What a powerful film I got a chance to witness over the weekend. I got a chance to sit down and really think about some conversations that we've been having in our community, in our global community for quite some time. And then after doing the research, a few people who actually are on that cast of this movie is called Canal Street. It's in theaters now. A few of those people are friends of the show. We call them citizens. And then you got the producer, writer, director who's here as well, who has a really powerful, interesting story that we're going to get into momentarily. DB, can you go ahead and, tell the audience who we have in the room with us?
Bless them a little bit with some information. No problem. I got you, Sway. First off, I'm going to start with the guy who, it was a show that you said that you ended up getting interested in very late after it already went off the air, but it's gotten critical acclaim, praise from all over. Everybody knows it. It's called The Wire, and I got to tell you, because this guy played Marlo Stanfield, and Rolling Stone took a poll of the 40 greatest TV villains of all time, and Marlo came in at number 2.
Damn.
So I think that says a lot to who played him in that movie. I mean, he also starred in Bosch. He starred in Law and Order. I mean, the guy is incredibly paid in full. He's incredibly talented. Jamie Hector, and then we also have, like you said, the producer, writer, director. Pretty much did everything you could do on this film. And this guy comes from Chicago. He had a good family that helped steer him in the right direction. I was reading a lot about your history, and it was very impressive, all the things you overcame in order to get to where you are right now. We'll get to that, I'm sure, later on in the interview, but we also have Rhyan Lamarr here.
Rhyan Lamarr. What's up, man? You from Chicago originally?
You know what? People always ask me that question, and my Chicagoans, they be like, all right, man, you better tell the truth. So, I was born in Bloomington, moved to the south side of Chicago at a young age. And bumped my head and grew up on the south side. Then moved to Park Ridge.
Okay.
So, parents didn't really make it the right way, so I stayed with my pops on the south side. Mom lived on the suburbs, so we kind of did that dance back and forth.
Okay.
But that's where you get movies like this, where you got, foot on both sides of the tracks.
And then you went from Chicago to where?
To L.A.
To L.A. to pursue your dreams of becoming a producer, writer, right?
Yeah, producer, writer, director. Janitor, the whole nine, and Bernie Mac actually gave me my first shot.
I saw that, yeah. And what was for Mr. 3000?
Yeah, you know what? He really put his arms around me on Mr. 3000. I was a freshman in college at that time, got my first gig. He said, go back to school. When you got that paper, come holler at me in L.A. I came out to L.A. Literally the second day I was in L.A., he had me working on the Bernie Mac show. I did that for like 3-4 years.
Okay.
And he was always just pushing into me, and reading into me. So, and then from that, I went out to, I just started hustling.
Well, talk about that hustle, because I find your story, and Jamie Hector is here as well, who also has an interesting story, but you did a lot to get to this point. And I like to hear the back end of the story, because sometimes we just see the final, we see the finale and don't know what it took to get there. And then you see a movie like this, Canal Street. Like, you went to L.A., you were homeless at one point, right?
Oh, yeah, I was.
Living out of a U-Haul.
Yeah. What's crazy is people always had that E. True Hollywood story or whatever, but the question always is, well, how did you get there, right? Because I could have went home too. It wasn't like I couldn't go back to Chicago, but it's that pride that kind of gets in the way of all of that, and I started top. Here's the thing, we don't teach our youth how to save money, how to actually budget. And I got myself into my own problems. I got in my own way, found myself on the streets in Van Nuys, living with my writing partner as we were still penning Canal Street, and when you hit beyond rock bottom, you got two things you could do. You can, pack your bags and go home, or you can reevaluate your life and realize that, you got to change some things. And we had to really start changing some things and really start listening and removing people in our life that was, not good. Poison.
I read that you sold all your possessions and then lived out of a U-Haul truck for how long?
It was a year.
Wow. You lived out of a U-Haul truck for For a year. So you didn't have to worry about plane tickets or train tickets. You got to drive wherever you want to go, right?
We had so
how did that work though?
So what happened was we had got evicted, and we, when you get evicted, you get that knock on the door, you got a couple hours to get all your stuff, so we put all our stuff. I was a gamer at the time too, so it was kind of cool. I mean, literally where we got evicted from, there was a pawn shop, so I've always been a hustler. So I was like, all right, cool. What we can do is, I knew one game was $25, and I knew that could literally keep us in the motel for 5-6 hours a week. And so there was also a U-Haul spot right next to the pawn shop. So I was like, man, I'm tired of, washing up in these Wendy's bathrooms and stuff like that. Let's get this U-Haul van, because I knew moving companies, when they're a low-budget moving company, they can rent that U-Haul van for a month and just keep paying that $20 a week. Wow. So I was like, we can have a mobile home, and we can literally drive across and do interviews and stuff. And do you know nobody knew I was homeless? I was dating a girl.
I was about to ask if there was women involved during this year.
Look, check this out, man.
You want to come over? Beep, beep.
For real, right? Check this out, man. I had this barber, man, and I came to him. I said, look, man, I'm in a really bad spot, and you've always looked out for me. The best thing that I could have for me to keep my morals up is a haircut. And he said, look, I got you. That man cut my hair for a year.
God bless.
And kept me, that was the only thing that kept my spirits up, was that haircut. Right before we were filming Canal Street, I was just in LA, and I went by the shop, and I had kept every time he cut my hair, I had kept literally, a little tab, what I'm saying, a log, right? And I went over there and I said, hey, man, I just want to get this to you. Man, things is going better in my life, and you came to me at a point that nobody was believing in me. Everybody had canceled me out, and you just cut my hair. And I gave him, a little bag, and the dude broke down because he was going through some stuff with his baby mama. And he was like, I needed this because I'm dealing with these court cases. And he's like, this is going to help me. And I was like, man, look at God.
Yes.
Look at God. Look at God, man. Oh, my gosh, man. Rhyan Lamarr, ladies and gentlemen. Give out your social media, because I wanted you to talk about this. We're going to talk about the movie, but I think your life story is a movie.
Amen. In
itself. You should write that, too. What's your social media?
It's Rhyan Lamarr. It's RHYAN LAMARR.
How did you get funding to complete Canal Street?
Me and my executive producing partners, Kevin Mullins and Bishop Eric Garnes, I tell people, if you find people that are heavily influenced in finances, those aren't the people you ask for money. Those are the people you want to partner up with so they can utilize their influence. And so we connected with each other, and they really believed in me enough to weigh in on their influences. And we went across the country and knocked on at least 50,000 doors. This wasn't like a one and done type of situation. This was a love offering of investors. Some people put in 5,000, 100,000. Like it wasn't just so cut and dry. We shot this movie in 16 and a half days for under $2 million. Wow. And this is all independent investors that believed in positive messaging, and people like Jamie, and Michael T and Makai and Lance and all these people are part of it. Bryce Shear, yeah. Woody McLean, they invested their time. Because we ain't had the money to pay. We paid them, but we ain't pay.
But I know Jamie's price is up there. You can't just get Jamie. He got to love the project.
I love the project.
You love the project, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us why you love the project. What about this story is it that lured you in to take this role?
One, I always wanted to play a pastor.
Okay.
I wanted to learn about a pastor and what their mission is. Two, a friend of mine, I was working on Bosch in Yancey. He's also, he plays the mayor on Bosch, and he came to me and he said, there's a project I think you would really love, and we can talk about it. And, once you read the material about a kid that's born on the south side of Chicago, surrounded by drama, but it's just he's in a nucleus of love, right? He gets into no trouble until he moves to the suburbs. And then once he gets to the suburbs, he's fighting for his life. And once he's fighting for his life, he leans on the only person that he finds that can give him his faith back, that pillar in the community. And once I read that, I fell in love with it, and I said, I got to be a part of this.
and you play Pastor Sam Billings, right?
Yeah, Pastor
Sam Billings. What's his story?
Pastor Sam or just
No, the Bright Shear's character.
So like Jamie was saying, it's about a kid, that moves from the south side of Chicago to the suburbs after his father gets a promotion, at a prestigious law firm ran by Lance Reddick's character, Jerry Shaw. And everything is going cool. It kind of feels like it's going to be that fish out of water story. And Brashear's character, Coley Stiles, ends up getting into a fight with the school bully, jock, pretty boy of the town. And the whole community sees it. The next day, that same kid, played by Kevin Quinn, turns up dead. And he immediately is accused in the court of public opinion before he's even in trial, before he's even, given a bail or anything. And, it was crazy is Michael T's character, who plays Brashear's father, takes the case and defends his son. And he goes up against the prosecutor who's also running for mayor in the city of Chicago, played by Mekhi Phifer. And it becomes this trial of the century, but it also becomes this trial on social media.
Okay.
And people are like, yo, did you write this script like now for the day?
Yeah.
Crazy thing is we wrote this script in 2005. This is before the U-Haul.
14 years ago?
Yes, sir. And that is,
Damn.
14 years ago?
Yeah. It took us that long to get this movie made.
It's so interesting because you're talking about the court of public opinion a lot, and in this country, the law is you're innocent until proven guilty, but the court of public opinion can convict you before you even step into a courtroom. Right. And I just saw T.I. talking about that in regards to Chris Brown. When those charges came up 2 weeks ago or whatever, and T.I. was like, man, we're so rushed to jump to a conclusion. And then Mike Muse was just talking about this. Once the conclusion gets out there, and social media, you have what you call group thought, or what is group thinking, and then it just keeps going and keeps going. What is the race component in this story?
I get that question asked a lot, and it comes down to this: there's always two sides to the story, right?
Okay.
But then once you have those two sides, then within those two sides, you have to break down the thought process and the patterns and the way people think and where did they come from and what are they influenced by. And so Canal Street literally takes that, and it basically shows a mirror for everybody. In order to change and to be a part of the change, you got to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
And in order to be a part of the solution, you got to be willing to have a conversation. And so that's literally what Canal Street is. It's about creating the conversation so when you leave the theater, you're able to discuss that. And the race component is so easy. I think sometimes it's lazy to do the whole black and white thing. Yeah. Because it's so done. It's redundant.
And it's a shame because it's done in real life constantly. so it always has a place because that's just where we live now.
And the crazy thing is like, there's a scene, and everybody always talks about the barbershop scene. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a scene where the black prosecutor, played by Mekhi, just goes to get a haircut, and that's the scene that literally birthed the whole movie. Because I always ask the question, I wonder what it was like for Christopher Darden to go get a haircut in Compton at the time of the O.J. Simpson trial. Yeah. A place he's been getting his haircut his whole life. How is he going to just, go in? How they going to treat him? Because that's the real court. You go to the shop, they going to talk to you. They going to holler at you. Absolutely. They going to have that conversation with you. And it's not about black and white. I said, look, we're going to take all the stereotypes out. We're going to make it a black defending lawyer against a black prosecutor. So now we're going to have a real conversation within the black community of even interracial stuff that goes on within art, you know what I mean, and judgment within the black community, because we don't talk about that a lot.
Yeah, man. Canal Street is the name of the movie. It's in theaters now. We got Jamie Hector is here. Rhyan Lamarr is here. I'm going to open up the phone lines, 888-742-3345. The movie is in theaters now. If you want tickets, go to www.canalstreetmovie.com. See where it's playing near you. You got any questions, give us a call, Shay 45.
Listen, the conditions I come from.
Real up.
Can't pull over Trump, son. I close my eyes.
Hold up. We're going to play this song right here. What can you tell us about the song, Ryan?
This is a song featuring Head Crack and No Malice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all know who No Malice is, right? Tell them who No Malice is, Ryan.
So No Malice used to be Malice, right? The other group Clips.
You got to say that shit now, man.
Yeah.
People forget you in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's why I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now y'all going, oh, so play the song. Here it is. Sway in the morning, Shade 4-5. Tell me about that song real quick. Rhyan Lamarr is here, producer, writer, director of Canal Street.
Man, that is a song, Head Crack featuring No Malice, AQV Music. Jonathan Stevens kind of put that together. That song actually opens up the movie. And I think, man, it's amazing what No Malice is doing. He just completely flipped the script and is being a real positive voice for the community and in the Christian hip hop scene. You know, which you've had, you know, a lot of them on. You know, Social Club of my boys, Andy Mineo,
Lecrae.
Love Andy Mineo.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's y'all know it's just this subculture that folks don't know about. And then once you get immersed in it, you like, yo, where I've been this whole time.
Yeah,
they sell out shows across America constantly.
Man. No controversy, no headlines, no TMZ headlines. I love TMZ, but it's not for the wrong reasons. If they get a headline, TRACY, go ahead.
Yes, Ryan, I'm wondering because you said this has been 14 years in the making. Talk to us about like the process with how you're delegating the amount of work that you put on your plate each day. So like in the beginning, how many hours did you spend, and then towards the middle, and then towards the end?
I'm actually working more hours than I did in the beginning. You know, it's an independent movie, so it's an independent grind. I mean, even the fact that we're on Sway right now is all God.
Right.
I don't even know how. That's all God just taking the wheel of that.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to do everything. You don't have a studio. You don't really necessarily have a marketing team. You know, you don't have an assistant. You don't have any of that stuff. And so it's 100% a grind with my production team, day in and day out. You know, from being a director to then, okay, now I got to put on my suit to be, you know, to talk finances.
Right.
So now I got to talk to the distributor, you know, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, to talk to the music distributor to make sure the soundtrack is happening right. You know, then, hey, we got to make sure that the Uber driver is going to pick up the talent because they got to have X, Y, and Z, and they got to have their per diem and their hotel, like all that stuff's on a whole. And then, oh yeah, you the director, so now talk about the creative side of it.
Wow.
You know, now we ain't gonna do that forever, but I'm doing that right now.
Welcome to your life.
Right.
You went from the U-Haul to Hollywood, kid. That's how it goes.
What kind of coffee you be drinking, Ryan?
I take Zija. So Zija is a health company that I be taking that keeps me up because that coffee be making me sleepy.
Okay, that's what's up. Hopefully, got some
I
proprietorship.
want to talk about the independent filmmaking process because you said the budget was around $2 million, which can be a lot or a little depending on what you're aiming for. So where did you allocate the money most? You know, was it the type of cameras you wanted to use, or was it locations and clearing music?
So we didn't get the 1.8. I'm gonna hold it 1.89.
Okay.
We didn't get that number right away. You know, it came in increments. So, you know, this is all God here because the first person to sign on to the project before we even had any other talent was Jamie.
Jamie from Queen of the South?
Yes.
Devon Finch? You got him?
This man right here, we had a conversation and, you know, we had a cork board.
That's
it was
dope.
an empty cork board and we was like, I was talking with my producer partner, Chris Jennings, and we're like, all right, man, we can either pay for one big actor and then everybody else is going to just be locals, or we can roll the dice. I said, you want to roll the dice? He was like, all right, let's roll the dice. We only got one shot at this. So we ended up making sure we could secure enough money to secure all the actors.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they do there's something called pay or play. Basically, no matter if the film goes or not, you still got to pay them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before they even set foot on Chicago soil.
Oh, wow.
And so Jamie was the first person we brought in. I remember they was like, all right, he's in. You ready? He was like, yep.
The reason why it was possible is because when I read the material, I then wanted to hear the vision of the director, the person that's going to control the wheel, and having a conversation with him and him understanding the process. Because then I said, all right, you know what? I want to shadow a pastor. He's like, I got somebody for you. I said, who? And he sent me to Compton. So I flew to L.A., went to Compton. What's the name of the pastor?
Pastor Michael Fisher out of Greater Zion Baptist Church.
And his entire congregation is Bloods and Crips.
Oh,
right?
that's amazing.
So he's surrounded by Bloods on this side, Crips on this side, and Latino set on another side. And this is his entire congregation. We spent a day or two over there, went and sat down with the sheriff. So then when I saw the layers that he was willing to operate under and hearing the story and reading the material, then I knew it was a go.
Wow, man, Jamie Hector. So you have Bloods and Crips. What's the name of that pastor?
Pastor Michael J.T. Fisher, man. He's an amazing man. He's doing amazing things out in Compton, California. That's the church I attend when I'm in California.
J.T. Fisher.
Michael J.T. Fisher.
Michael J.T. Fisher. I want to continue to say his name. Yeah, okay. He put it together. We got Todd on the line from Chicago. Canal Street is the name of the movie out now. Make sure you check it out. Todd, what you like to say?
Hey, what's up, all? What's up, Sway?
What up, brother?
How you guys doing? I met you guys in Chicago. My daughter was Evie, who jumped up with DJ Wonder.
Your daughter's the DJ. Yes, the young DJ. Hey.
We love her.
Yeah, Wonder's right there. Tell her we said what up. She popping now. She got an Instagram account and everything.
Dude, she's rocking it. She's rocking it. So anyway, my wife and I, we took the kids all to see it yesterday down on Roosevelt. Absolutely fantastic movie, man. Great writing. I thought the production was ridiculous. The way you integrated the forums with GCI and Mancow and got different perspectives. I got to give you huge props, Ryan, man. That was a brilliant movie. And Jamie, man, when you did when that father came up to you and you had to do that monologue about your own daughter dying and stuff, dude, that was hard, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, man, thank you so much for that. That means the world to me to know that people are going to see the movie that I don't even know. That as a filmmaker, that's still crazy to me. So, man, God bless you for that, man, and thank you for taking the family out.
That's what's up.
Yeah, well, you got to introduce them to everything. So, I mean, it was a great movie, great story, perfect for a 48-year-old like myself and a 9-year-old like my daughter. So.
And everybody in between. Thank you, Ty. You know you're a citizen, man.
In the morning.
All right, Adam in Detroit. Go ahead. You want to add to the conversation, Adam?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ryan, what you were saying about showing those two perspectives and the different things everyone goes through that gets them to that idea that they come to. It's that understanding people don't get unless they see those two perspectives and they see how everyone comes to those conclusions. And if they don't get that understanding, we're never all going to get along. I can't wait to see your movie, man. It sounds amazing.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much for that, man. And thank you for being able to listen to that, and have an open mind for that. And I hope the movie blesses you.
Hey, Adam, you're a citizen, man.
Sway in the morning. Really quickly, Ryan, hi. Thank you both for coming to the show and speaking about this. Going back, we heard about your struggle so much as you could share. But I think what's interesting and what I see a lot on the road to finding your purpose, you get little clues sometimes along the way, for lack of a better word, where God is bringing people in your life to say, keep going. And besides the young man that cut your hair, and maybe besides you being able to sell a thing here or there to keep you going and get to you, was there something else that happened that you feel like was like absolute confirmation from God to say, son, you're on the right track. Just keep going.
You know what it is? I found myself meeting people. I met Kevin Hart.
Great
person. This was before the Kevin Hart right now.
Okay.
He used to be working out in Sherman Oaks over at I forgot the name of the gym.
Where Billy Blanks used to work out?
Nah, I see him on the airplane all the time now.
Okay.
But it was like a 24-hour fitness or something. And
okay.
It was him, it was like Malcolm Jamal Warner, and then like Bill Bellamy was like going up the escalator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, I'm like starstruck. This is when I first got to LA.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, that's a dude from Soul Plane. Oh, that's and I remember them being so humble. Right. And God will put people like them in my life to be like, you never, can get full of yourself like that, because look where they are and they're still climbing and they're humble. Right. I met Wayne Brady, the same thing. Like, I'm not name dropping for that. I'm saying God put people in my life at certain times to keep my butt in line, to be like, don't you ever start slipping out of there, start feeling yourself, because look at the humility that these people are giving you, having a regular conversation with you. And every single time I be like on my outs, I just randomly meet somebody, and they'd be like, hey, what's up? And I'd be like, yo, I'm a filmmaker, give me any advice, and they'd be say, look, man, I don't want no money, I just want some wisdom and some advice from you. Right. And they would talk to you, you know what I mean? Every single time I was about to give up, I would randomly bump into somebody, and that would come in my life and just drop dimes on me. Devon Franklin is instrumental in my life right now.
He's coming next week.
He's here next week.
Man, that brother, I don't, every time I message him, he hit me back, be like, yo, this is what you need to do, this is where you're messing up at. I ain't never asked him for nothing other than just advice.
Wow. That's Rhyan Lamarr, ladies and gentlemen. Give out your social media, man.
It's Rhyan Lamarr. That's RHYAN LAMARR across the board.
Jamie Hector, who we gotta have come up again, man, because I just like to sit and build with you on the air and see where that'll go. You know, but I am a huge fan of Queen of the South, and we just had Snow the Product on the show last week. And what's going on with Queen of the South?
Well, they're in the writer's lab right now.
Okay.
Got picked up, relocating out of Dallas, and I think they're moving to New Orleans with it. And new showrunner on board, and writing and creating and developing the characters.
You coming back?
Yeah. Got to. I mean, they didn't close out my storyline.
They didn't close out you got an ill-ass Devon Finch.
Devon Finch, yes.
You play an ill-ass character, man.
Yeah, he was different.
Is he working undercover? Like, what's his relationship with the authorities?
Yeah, he's working undercover.
Right?
He's CIA.
He's CIA.
Yeah.
Okay, it took me a long time
because it was somewhat confusing in a way, because you couldn't really tell whether I was really just working for them because they caught me.
Yeah.
Or I'm a part of them. But from what I understand, and having a conversation with the writers to develop this, he's CIA.
That means you're gonna have a job for a long time.
Yeah, because now you got to approach this from a different place, right? Even though they're not too far apart, right? I mean, if you think about what is said the CIA has done in regards to the past, and the FBI and COINTELPRO and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
Like the crookedness that they were a part of, so they're not too far from what a Devon Finch would have been if he's really like this mogul of a drug dealer and killer. But we're just gonna have fun with it and just approach it in a different way.
You can't, in your research for this character, who did you look at?
It's funny. This is Smooth Cat.
Jamal Reynolds.
Yes, Reynolds. Right?
Reynolds?
Yeah,
Okay.
this brother, he's just smooth, man, and he owns bonds, right? He sells bonds to the African American community, and he is based in Chicago. He was one of those that helped Barack get elected. And he's not on the wrong side of the fence, but he's just smooth, and he's a businessman. I had time to spend time with him while in Chicago working on this project also.
Yeah.
And I just picked his brain and just checked how he moved and the way that he handled his business. And so I had a chance to really operate with him for a while, just to flex with him. Devon Finch, he's involved in all kinds of business with stocks, legal and illegal, right? But it's all for the bottom line of making money.
It's all for the bottom line of making money.
Yeah.
Or is it for the bottom line of cleaning up the system, since he's CIA, which is supposed to be? Right? So what is the bottom line? And that's, when you look at all these series, you realize that you can't be a El Chapo without help.
Right.
You know what I mean? Without legal help, you can't become Rick Ross.
It's impossible.
Without legal help, you can't become these people. So Devon Finch is kind of toiling that line, right?
In that area,
yeah,
right?
okay.
They either see the naivety in you, that area of you that just, he's not going to know what's going on. We can manipulate him. Or this guy's, he can be powerful.
Oh, this is some good shit right here. Jamie Hector, man. Give this man a round of applause for all of his work. I love your work. I love how you represent yourself even off that screen, and I want to make sure we stay connected. And anytime you're doing something, man, come up here, man. It's your spot, all right?
I love you guys again, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. And Ryan, you got new family now. How you gonna deal with Heather and Mike Muse and DB? Now you got new family and TRACY, man.
Hey,
I'm welcome. Thank you for welcoming me to the family. It's crazy. I listen to y'all every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Oh, every day. I say I come to Sway for the real interviews.
Oh shit, you a citizen, Ryan.
Just gonna keep it there. Just gonna keep it there.
Keep it right there, man. It's all about us, not about them.
Hey.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool, man. I appreciate you guys, and I want to encourage all our citizenship to check out Canal Street. And if you want to know where, just go to www.canalstreetmovie.com. Support this young man. He's big already.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by.
Hey, thank you, Sway.
Absolutely.
Sway, thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Up next, we got Blueface out of L.A. He flew out here to talk to the citizens. You want to talk with him, 888-742-3345. Dedicating this to Chicago. Chicago. Shy.